So Matthew Dukes II is a lifelong resident of Midwest City. He and his wife, Narita, they're longtime faithful members of the Soldier Creek Baptist Church. Prior to being elected as mayor, Matt served 31 years as a Midwest City police officer, retiring out as a lieutenant with 2 life-saving events. Our fellow police officers, I think you guys are all back there, chief and assistant chiefs, and you guys raise your hands. We have a fantastic police department here in Midwest City. We're blessed to have these guys in the leadership role. Matt served in the Coast Guard for 25 years and in the Air National Guard, winning numerous awards. And shortly after his mayoral election, he completed his master's degree in public administration from Ashford University. I thought it was OU. I have a hard time saying
Couldn't afford OU.
All right, with all that, we're ready to hear the State of the City from Matt the Mayor. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'd be remiss to stand up here and not recognize the fact that we live in the best state in the United States. Where else can you go to be in the deep freeze one day and have tornadoes the next and have David and the storm trackers on the get? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. We do want to keep the victims of last night's tornado outburst in our prayers and the municipalities involved. Thanks, Tim, for that introduction, and Vaughn and Ryan, thank you guys for your participation. There's several people I need to recognize before we get started today. First off, my wife, Narita. She stuck with me for 2 elections and all the stuff that goes in between, and I couldn't do it without her, and she's my best friend, and about the only one I can talk to on most days. Now, she has heard this speech 8 times, so she's got it memorized. I would like to thank several people for being here. Megan Bain, our Ward 3 councilwoman. Thank you for being here, Megan. And her best partner, Joel. I almost said wife. I want to thank Max Wolfley, District 95, and his wife for being here. Brenda Stanley, the Energizer Bunny of the Oklahoma State Senate. Carrie Bloomer, our District 1 County Commissioner. I want to thank our partners from Air Force Association, and now it's the Air Force Security, or Space Force Association, correct? Did I get that right? I hadn't gotten used to the Space Force thing yet. Our partners from SSM St. Anthony, thank you for being here. Dr. Rick Cobb from Middell Schools and his party, thanks for being here, Dr. Cobb. And of course, W.P. Atkinson's granddaughter and just a great spokesman for the city of Midwest City, Cindy Mikeman, thanks for being here. We want to welcome some new members as our partners. American Glass, Inc. They are in the process of building in the Soldier Creek Industrial Park. Thank you guys for being here. Also, a representative for the newly elected Senator, Mark Wayne Mullen, Graham McDonald. Thanks for being here, Graham. Also, there's a couple of people I do need to recognize. I don't know if you know it or not, but we've got a mother-daughter team that put all this thing together. Susan McQuarrie works for our Visitors Bureau, and her daughter, Shanae Bennett, works for the Chamber of Commerce. Now, these two are cut from the same cloth, and they are the Energizer Bunnies of the city, and they were responsible for putting all this together and working all day Sunday. Thank you guys for your... When I got elected as mayor in 2016, I felt it was imperative that each year we come together and we share the accomplishments and what happens in this city, and share the different departments and all the hard work they do. Because I want to give you a better appreciation of what goes on in this city 24/7 without stop. And that was the whole purpose. But last year, I was approached, I won't say by who, Jill Donaldson, and said, hey, you need to change course. I said, what? What do you mean? You need to not get so knee-deep in the stats, but also cast a vision for the city. She's fanning herself right now. Funny. I said, what do you mean change? You understand I'm a Baptist, and you're asking me to change pews. God knows where I sit every Sunday, and that ain't going to work. But anyway, the more I thought about it, the more I embrace the idea. Before I go any further, speaking of Baptist, we have pastors of the two oldest churches in Midwest City present with us today. Kyle Jernigan from Soldier Creek Baptist Church, and also Sam Tucker, retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Chaplain from Wickline Methodist Church. They're celebrating their 80th birthday this year. Let's give them. Again, the more I thought about it, I thought, well, maybe I should. So for the next 2 hours, I want to... I knew that would get loud. Everybody's looking at their watch, moving toward the door. There are a few things I want to get across. And first off, I'll start out with our financial status, our community outreach efforts, highlights and accomplishments of 2022. You don't get out of that. And finally, some ideas that the city council, the city leadership, and I have about moving toward the future. First off, I'm proud to report once again that we had a clean audit in 21-22, which means nobody's going to jail. Thank you, Tia, for your hard work. Appreciate it. Tia is our finance director. That means that we're free from material misstatements and errors, which is always a good thing. I had to get a tutor for accounting in my master's program. I still don't understand it. That means the city is sustaining funds for any contingency that may come about. So Tim and staff, thank you for your hard work. On our community outreach efforts, you know, a lot of things happen in Midwest City that don't get a lot of press, which is disappointing. And where's Jeff Harrison from the Beacon? There he is. If it wasn't for Jeff, we probably wouldn't get any press. But there's a lot of good things that go on in this city, and I want to share some of them with you from last year. First off, the Animal Services Center, working out of a new facility, opened up a food pantry for those who may be struggling for food for their pets. Our Neighborhood in Action Center hosted a bi-weekly perishable food giveaway that continues. They also have tutors and job coaching programs available. One of their most popular outreaches occurs right across the hall in our VITA tax program, which provides tax information and filing for our residents free of charge. Neighborhood Services coordinated their annual food drive event in cooperation with Sam's Wholesale. They collected 26 pallets of food this year, assisting over 250 families in our city. They also facilitated my Community Partnerships Restore Midwest City program, which we come together with civic and religious groups to help our disadvantaged homeowners in Midwest City to maintain their property and take care and mitigate some of the code enforcement issues they run into. The fire department has a robust public education program and continue to educate and train our residents in fire and home safety. The police department coordinated and hosted many outreach programs to include Shop with a Cop, Helping the Homeless, and the 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which is sponsored by Inasmuch Foundation. Our Human Resources and Safety Department partnered with the Oklahoma Department of Rehabilitative Services to bring together a summer job intern program for young Oklahomans with disabilities. Our Public Works staff dedicated many outreach hours to Touch a Truck program and events, teaching the public on safety of the public works and what we do for our community. Thanks again for our dedicated employees for their continued partnerships and service to our great city. Thank you. As you know, or should know, in 2018, Midwest City and the residents of Midwest City came together and passed the largest ever general obligation bond project in the history of Midwest City, totaling $53 million. And ladies and gentlemen, we're wrapping this sucker up. We had 3 grand openings this year: John Conrad Golf Course, the Multi-Purpose Activity Center, commonly known as the MAC, and the Reed Ballpark. In January, the council approved a 2018 project for the soccer complex, improving 5 existing fields and bringing improved draining and lighting to additional fields in the complex. And we are excited to announce that the W.P. Atkinson Park at Town Center is complete and open for business. Great place. The water booster station and storage tank project is complete, providing sustainability and better water service for the people of the west side of Midwest City. We also had successful bids in things such as the design and construction services for the Mid-America All-Inclusive Park and temporary concessions for our ball fields. We should see significant progress in our Phase 2 of the street rehabilitation program, our project, and the Police Fire Training Center is coming out of the ground as we speak. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Animal welfare, working out of a new building once again, had a 26% increase in animal intakes last year, but they saved over 1,300 animals through rescue and adoption. This one I want to foot stomp, and I'm really extremely proud of. When I ran for mayor the first time, there were 3 issues that came to light every time I talked to somebody. That was the mall, the hospital, and bringing together a new movie theater. So we colored all those blocks, and we've covered the biggest one. Our city attorney and his team of staff members, Don, raise your hand, successfully developed a blight report on the Old Heritage Park Mall, and the Urban Renewal Authority has approved this blight report, and now it's sitting in the hands of the Planning Commission. Thank you for your hard work. Our city clerk processed over 60,000 calls for service last year and managed 21,000 utility accounts. Communications and Marketing and Convention Visitors Bureau coordinated 3 grand openings, supported Public Works and the Super Recycler program, and worked with other city staff to bring community events such as the Cruising for Coffee, Tribute to Liberty, Rock the Park, and yes, this year, the United States Air Force's open house and air show, bringing once again the Blue Angels back to Midwest City. I've got a story about the Blue Angels, but I'll tell that later. Community Development reviewed 843 plans, resulting in 156 certificates of occupancy. They worked with other city staff to work on the Medical District with our partners from SSM St. Anthony. Thank you for being here today. Economic Development Director Robert Coleman Worked with city and community partners and planning commission to develop our third tax increment district in the hopes of bringing businesses to the 23rd Street and the 36th Street corridor, thus creating additional job opportunities for our citizens. We saw a record number of new home constructions totaling $40 million. Even with the staffing and supply chain issues that we saw in the post-COVID world, we had far more ribbon cuttings than we did closings last year. We welcomed Carter's to Town Center. We also are going to welcome Mathis Brothers to Town Center in the old J.C. Penney building, and we're looking forward to that grand opening coming in the next several weeks. Our own Emergency Management Director, Debbie Wagner, was awarded the Emergency Manager of the Year, and I'm sure she's helping work the issues that occurred last night. There's a group of folks that work in the basement of the City of Midwest City in the EOC, or Emergency Operations Center, and our 911 dispatchers. They do phenomenal work, and last year they were accredited with saving 6 lives by their efforts over the phone, directing people on how to take care of their loved ones. Also, I want to thank Brenda Stanley, Max Wolfley, and Robert Manger for supporting and bringing to fruition the House Bill 3278, which recognizes throughout the state our 911 dispatchers as first responders. Thank you for your efforts. Newly formed in 2022, we have an engineering and construction department led by our city engineer, Brandon Bundy. They're working through some issues and to bring about a better customer service product to you and developers and people seeking permits in the city. Even through this transition, they conducted 5,500 inspections and issued 3,500 permits. Our fire department, led by Bert Norton, responded to 8,642 calls for service last year, 223 fire incidents. Despite the increase in call volume, they continued to train, logging 24,000 hours of training in medical and fire suppression. They participated in 2 major training events that include active shooter. Fire prevention conducted 1,100 inspections and investigated 4 adult protective services causes and 13 fires. Our finance team managed our largest budget ever of $209 million. They saved the city $96,000 and reclaimed $46,000 of money owed to us. And with their efforts, we continue to maintain a AA bond rating, which saves us money when we do bond transfers. Our fleet team distributed 270,000 gallons of gas last year to our fleet. They earned $65,000 in surplus sales over eBay and the internet. All the technicians retained their certification, which saves us a lot of money because we don't have to outsource a lot of those repairs, and while repairing over 1,200 pieces of equipment and vehicles. Grants management secured $11 million in grant funds for specific projects throughout the city. They coordinated the Head Start program, and nearly 600 children participated in the Boys and Girls Club, which we helped sponsor. And of course, the golf course. I can't talk anything without the golf course. It's been a huge success since we reopened, and you can't get a tee time, basically. So, and one of the best things we ever did as a city is we kept our golf course open during COVID. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Human Resources processed 938 job applications, hiring 179 new employees. They also defended the city and the state, saving the city and state in over $250,000 in fraudulent unemployment claims. Our Human Resources Department is led by Troy Bradley. Troy, raise him. The IT department, commonly known as the Geek Squad, continues to protect our infrastructure from cyber attacks, which has become one of the biggest economic downfalls for businesses across the nation. They provided the staff with platforms to provide visualization insights, reporting capabilities to our public safety and public works departments. They installed new cameras protecting Midwest City assets. And they also assisted us, and I don't know that anybody else has done this, but instead of the council coming together and try to draw the lines of the wards, we turned it over to GIS, and they plugged in the numbers and took the politics right out of it. That was great. Customer service initiatives in the municipal court continue to be successful, allowing online payment and phone payments instead of people showing up in person to show. And they processed over 12,000 citations, last year. Code enforcement continues to work hard. They processed and worked over 8,000 cases last year, but working with the citizens, they only contracted 587, and even fewer citations was issued. Our neighborhood associations continue to be strong, and Mike's group down at the Neighborhood Services facilitated 137 neighborhood association meetings and assisted the neighborhood associations in participating in the Veterans Day Parade. And again, Parks and Recs had a great year, opening 3 new facilities. Our community center, the building that we're in, the reservations have returned back to pre-COVID numbers, and they will soon deploy an online reservation system which will help facilitate the booking of our facilities in the city. Reed Ballpark brought in over 100 teams last year from 5 different states and tournaments. Our MAC hosted baseball, t-ball, soccer, and softball, and that's why we designed it the way we did, is to facilitate and keep that operating year-round. The Reno Swim and Slide had a great year, operated and managed by Gabby Claves, the daughter of our former police chief. I wish we could hire her. For the police department, of course, I'm a tad bit biased toward this group of folks, had a year of transition. We had numerous retirements of veteran officers, but we hired and trained 13 new officers. I'm assured by Chief Porter that all of them are 21 and able to carry a gun. Some of them don't look it. Our police department responded to 80,000 calls for service last year. That equates to 9.2 calls per hour, 24/7. They're extremely busy, and Chief, thank you for your hard work. The entire department is trained in active shooter response and crisis intervention. We also continue to maintain mental health response, with 90% of our officers continually training in that effort. Our Public Works Department are kind of unsung heroes in our city. The administration office, which I think is about a team of 4, continue to administer and manage all of the things that are public works. Line maintenance responded to 435 calls for sewer issues. They've fixed 45 water main breaks, 26 sewer main breaks, and staff inspected 85 miles of sewer line and did preventive maintenance on as many miles. For their efforts, they were awarded the 2022 Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group Sanitation Sewer Systems Award. Say that 3 times. Congratulations, Paul, and your team and your efforts. Now this one just always amazes me, and I don't know why, but last year Solid Waste Division collected 37,666 tons of trash. Now that equates to 1.5 tons of trash per citizen. That's a lot of trash. We recycled 1,985 tons of recyclable material, along with 13 tons of glass. We managed to couple with Republic Services to start the Super Recycler program, educating our citizens and our customers in how to recycle and what's not recyclable, thus reducing the contamination of a recycle as they go through. They recognized 235 super recyclers with gift cards, and I was not a recipient of one. Matter of fact, I think I got an F. Was that correct? Stormwater. Processed 1,000 household hazardous waste drop-offs, weighing 84,000 pounds. This prevents this material from going to the dump and eventually making its way into our water system. Streets, Parks, and Facilities Division continue to keep our facilities in Midwest City clean and mowed and free of debris. And thank you for your hard work in that area. They're never off the job. Water Resources Recovery Facility processed 2 billion gallons of wastewater last year. They hosted several educational tours, and they continue to be documented for their best practices in wastewater management by DEQ and the EPA. The composting staff received over 3,000 yards of vegetative material, which equated to 2 million pounds of compost, which was given to our citizens. The water plant processed 2 billion gallons of fresh water to our citizens. 2 billion in, 2 billion out. They met or exceeded all water quality standards set forth by the EPA and DEQ. In fact, you are sitting in the town that has the best tasting water in the state. They were awarded the American Water Works Association Southwest Section Oklahoma Water Taste Contest in 2022. Congratulations. That's kind of an oxymoron. If you taste your water and it has a taste, there should be something wrong, I think. Our risk management department processed 100 work-related injuries, providing customer service and prompt medical care to our employees, which is vitally important. And we are the only municipality in the state that supplies our employees with CDL training, thus preventing us from having to send them out and costing us additional fundage to get them trained. In June, the council approved the De Palma Hotel and Resort Group to take over management of our city-owned Reed Conference Center and Hotel. They assisted us in the final stages of the remodel process, and the council approved the final step in converting our hotel, conference center, and hotel to De Palma or Delta Hotel by Marriott. Now I would like to concentrate on casting a vision for the city. As you know, I'm a lifelong resident here, and I hold a lot of these things dear to my heart, and I want us to continue to grow. And one phrase that you're going to start hearing quite often is we need to stay on track. We've done a lot over the last 6 years, and we need to continue to keep our foot on the gas and progress. To cast a vision for the city, you only need to look back at the vision that W.P. Atkinson had for this community of making it America's model city. We must continue to make Midwest City and work toward making Midwest City walkable, livable, safe, and have the amenities available to attract people in and keep them here. Therefore, it should be a priority for us as management to address the housing needs of our community. I would like to see us partner with our realtors and developers in the area to bring this to fruition and address some of the housing issues and bring housing that is needed to our community, utilizing our comprehensive plan. And we gather all kinds of data every day. We need to use that data to help us develop housing opportunities for our community, coming together and bringing data-driven community development to fruition and help us in that area. We also need to continue to petition our legislators. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the greatest group of legislators in the state. Max Wolfley, Robert Manger, and of course, Brenda Stanley. But every year, legislation comes out that preempts us from doing our job at the municipal level. We must continue, and during the session, we'll text back and forth, hey, is this good, is this not? What do you think about this? That's the kind of relationship we have, and that's the kind of relationship we need to maintain. We at the municipal level do a very good job, and pardon me, but the state doesn't need to be involved. That's okay, you can clap. But these folks are in tune with us. We have a meeting every year to bring our legislative priorities together and talk, and that's a great relationship that we need to maintain. As you know, or if you don't know, our City Hall complex was built in 1970. It's over a half century old, and we outgrew it 25 years ago. We need to start the conversation of building a new City Hall complex, or at least rehabilitating the one we have. Doing so will provide a clean, safe working environment for our employees, thus increasing retention. This would include, Chief, a new jail, new police department, and Vicki, a new court. We must identify funding to recapitalize in our infrastructure. This is not an easy task, but we need to start replacing old with new and providing the capacity for future growth and development. We've had tremendous success at the MAC, bringing hundreds of visitors to our community, and we must continue to plan for the completion, adding in 3 additional fields and also additional concession and parking. Now this one, I guess because I am one, there's a beehive of activity that goes on just east of here in a building called the Senior Citizen Center. Seniors from our community and surrounding communities gather there every day to eat lunch and socialize. This is vitally important for their well-being. We must look at expanding that facility and also the services that we provide our seniors. And I'll be hanging out there once I get out of office. Except I don't square dance. Can't do that. 10th Street corridor provides some challenges for us. These are challenges that are not going to be easily overcome and won't come cheap. What was once a bustling retail and restaurant area is now only silhouetted by empty buildings and empty fast food restaurants. This came about because of the decline of and the exodus of wealth from the area, which was once a thriving middle-class neighborhood. Therefore, I'm calling for, and the council is calling for, a study to redevelop that corridor and bring and resuscitate life back into that corridor. I don't see him here, but a young man that you need to keep an eye on, his name's Marcus Hayes. He approached me, he's been involved in different committees, but he approached me last year and said, Mayor, we need to develop an arts council, and I couldn't agree more. We need to be so, and through the diligent research of our city attorney, we found a resolution that was passed by councils in the past that developed and brought forth a arts council. We need to resuscitate that and bring it back to life to provide arts and other activities for our community. Other communities have done very well with this. So if you're interested in bringing life to that, please let me know. We're working to create new job opportunities, but we also need to focus on improving our neighborhoods. We do that through new housing, development and redevelopment, and working with the school districts and providing a learning environment for our kiddos that live in those areas. And I also like, and Cindy and I have talked about this, and I've talked about this with other folks in the community that have been here for a long time. We have a unique history in the city of Midwest City. Unique from everybody else in the United States, or in the state of Oklahoma. As you know, or should know, that we were built as a support community for what was then Midwest Air Depot and is now Tinker Air Force Base. Tinker Air Force Base is the largest single-site employer in the state of Oklahoma, bringing forth a $1.5 billion payroll to our communities. With that being said, we were built as a support community for that base, and we need to gather our history and bring it under one roof. So I'm calling for the development of a Midwest City Historic Society and see what we can do with all of our artifacts and bring them together so we can tell our story. We have a lot of community partners. Several of them are with us today from SSM St. Anthony. Thank you guys for being here. AIG, or American Glass Incorporated, is with us today. They're our newest participant in the SCIP, or the Soldier Creek Industrial Park, and we have many others. We need to work with our community partners continually to bring forth this vision for our city and continue our growth and well-being for our citizens. Whatever that looks like. In closing, the mission of Midwest City is to maximize the quality of life for our citizens through professional services, proper management, and existing resources and appropriate planning. We must continue to do that for our citizens. And I want to leave you with this idea. That sign right there was an icon of Midwest City as you came in from Tinker Air Force Base or the 29th Street project to our shopping district. Unfortunately, through redevelopment, we lost it. Don't know what happened to it. Now I want to leave you with this thought. I think it would be cool for us to bring some funding together to replicate that sign and put it in W.P. Atkinson Park. So think about that. I'll be reaching out to you. Again, Midwest City is a great community, and we have great employees, and we have great amenities, and it's just a nice place to live. So with that, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for your participation. May God bless our community. God bless the great state of Oklahoma, and of course, the United States of America. Thank you for being here. Have a great day.